all of us may have been a bit too quick to hate on this year's draft class. And when I say all of us, I really just mean myself. Because yeah, if you look at some of my uploads recently, you might see a video where I call out the entire draft class and call them all historically bad. And you know what? I still somewhat stand by that. Like the main guys in this draft, like Alex Sarr or Reed Shepard or Zachary Ricochet, have been very underwhelming, specifically when it comes to where they were drafted. I'm not saying that they're going to be busts and everything is terrible, because for some of them it is just situational, right? Reed Shepard is on a somewhat contending team, so he's not going to get all the playing time that you would expect. I mean, there is a bunch of other excuses and reasons as to why some of these players aren't playing like the #1 or #2 overall pick, but that doesn't mean that every single person in this draft class is bad, because we are seeing some players absolutely shock the league. I know I'm going to sound like LeBron here, but I swear to God, some of these guys, I just knew that they were going to be good. I'm not that huge of a draft guy. Like, yeah, I do my fair share of research before the draft, so I'm knowledgeable on some of the players or, you know, people to look out for when coming into the league. But I'm not sitting here watching every single college game or going through every single mock draft and board there is and looking at the scouting, you know, developments or whatever the fuck. I don't really do all that. But some guys like Jared McCain, I knew they were going to be fucking ballers as soon as they came into the league. And because we're going to start off this video by talking about Jared McCain, the guy who is currently leading the Rookie of the Year race, I think it's fair to say that a common theme in this video will be just the situation that these guys are in. I don't think Jared McCain would be leading the Rookie of the Year race if guys like Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey had been healthy the entire season. But because he was able to take advantage of these guys being out and play his brand of basketball, which is just insanely fun to watch, he's absolutely killing it. And one of the most fun aspects to his game, and the thing that I enjoy watching the most, is this man's jumper. This is one of the most clean, smooth, finger-licking, delicious fucking jumpers I have ever seen in my life. And the speed that he gets this thing up at, I mean, oh my God, it is beautiful. And then pair that with his off-ball movement and his ability to read the offense and read, you know, the entire court, you know, his floor awareness when he doesn't have the ball, when he passes it, whatever it is, he knows exactly where everything is at all times. He knows how to get open. He knows where he can get off his best shot. And honestly, the more I talk about him, if you didn't know that I was saying these things about Jared McCain, it would sound like I'm describing a certain 4-time MVP point guard in the league. I meant to say 4-time NBA champion. I don't know why I said MVP. Yeah, I'm not saying that he's going to be Stephen Curry or he is Stephen Curry just in his rookie year, but you got to be honest and say that you see the similarities, right? Like, I'm not the only one that's crazy for thinking this, right? One of the crazy things is that Jared McCain fell all the way down to number 16, obviously where the 76ers were, and you'll see that it's a common theme that the Sacramento Kings passes up on the good talent. One real quick side note about Jared McCain that I just don't understand is why people are upset that he does TikToks or paints his nails. I really do think that if you have a problem with that, you have some self-reflection that you need to do, and maybe there's something else bigger in your life that's more of an issue. But for the 76ers to be in such a terrible position, and not just standings wise, but just the morality of the locker room and Joel Embiid being upset at the, you know, whole team meeting and people being injured, whatever it is, he's really the only bright spot in this team, I would say, right next to Tyrese Maxey. Like, the one post-game press conference that we saw from Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain was like the best part of their season so far. And as sad as that sounds, I promise you, when you watch it, you'll understand.
Saying I'm the Rookie of the Year in celebration or something along those lines. Or so, there was a
I don't know what came to my mind at that moment, but I guess I said that. And
you guessed.
Yeah, I did say that. I did.
Okay.
It was pretty clear.
There we go.
So do I think Jared McCain should win Rookie of the Year? To be honest, yes. I think he'd be great for the sport. But around the same place where Jared McCain got drafted, you have Dalton Knecht, or Knecht 4. Another guy that the Sacramento Kings decided to pass up on. But anyways, we'll get back to that in a bit. A fun little personal thing about me and Dalton is that I actually watched him play when he was in Tennessee. I don't know why I said that like he invited me or I know him personally. He has no clue who I am. I just happened to go to that game with my family, and yeah, he just so happened to be drafted to the Lakers. And he also just so happened to be fucking insane. I'm pretty sure he has the most points scored in a single game by a rookie so far in this class with his 37-point barrage that he had. I'm sure every single person that's watching this video knows the game that I'm talking about. I don't usually cheer for anyone on the Lakers, but Dalton is one of those guys that is just too much fun to watch. His three-point game is insane, and the fact that his head coach is JJ Redick is actually one of the most understated and best parts about the start of his career. Because if there's one coach that is going to get you the ball and have you shoot the shit out of the three, it's going to be JJ Redick. I mean, one of the first things that we heard from JJ Redick after drafting Dalton was the fact that he was writing up plays like right away. That's one of those things that I hope we continue to see throughout the season, because even though I don't cheer for the Lakers, I saw him play in college, so that's kind of cool, and I have a bit more of a connection to him. So he's been another one of those guys that's amazing to watch, but wasn't necessarily a top pick in the draft. One of the guys who was a top pick in the draft and actually has had a great season so far is Stefon Castle. And I'm going to be completely honest and say that even though I had a bit of a feeling that Dalton Knecht and McCain were going to be good players in the league, Stefon Castle I had no fucking idea about. And if anything, I was upset that the Spurs got him and kept him because they drafted Rob Dillingham and traded him right away. I always felt like Rob Dillingham was going to be the guy that was perfect to put up next to Wembanyama, and as soon as they traded him, I kind of just threw out the rest of their draft. Like, I was so upset that they would do something like that I just didn't really pay much attention to him or care about, you know, what their rookie was going to do. And I am proud to admit that that was a stupid fucking decision by me, and he has been amazing so far. Specifically in their last game against the Golden State Warriors, where you saw his lockdown defense. I mean, actually suffocating defense on Stephen Curry, keeping him to only 14 points while shooting, I'm pretty sure 3 for 10 from the three-point line. I mean, these are things that not even veteran NBA players that have been in the league for, 10 plus years have ever done. So to see him do that right out of the draft and also be efficient from the offensive end as well, it was a little bit scary. With my favorite team being in the Western Conference, I now know that the San Antonio Spurs are most likely going to dominate for the next 10 years. But I do have a strong feeling that Castle isn't really going to get the respect he deserves until the Spurs become a winning team and people actually start, watching them. I mean, obviously people watch them because of Victor, but when it comes to the rookies that are in this year's class, a lot of people care more about the offensive end and don't really care if he's doing anything defensively, right? They want to see those Dalton Knecht 37-point games, those McCain threes, things like that. I mean, I was exactly like that person. And finally, one of the more disappointing stories that I have is Matas Buzelis. I made a video talking about him, saying that he is my rookie of the year and I cannot wait to see what he does this season. Watching the situation he is in is one of the most frustrating things of all time. The Chicago Bulls are fucking ass. They are terrible. They're not going to contend. They're not going to win a championship anytime soon. If anything, I'm surprised they haven't fully blown everything up already. But even though they're terrible, Billy Donovan and the fucking Bulls have the nerve to say Matas Buzelis needs to earn his spot on the team. They send him down to the G League, they barely give him any minutes, and it's fucking disgusting. I mean, your team is terrible. Develop your young talent. The guy was showing out in the Summer League and in the preseason, and now we're throwing him in the G League and not letting him do anything? Oh my god, it's actually one of the most frustrating situations, and it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of the other rookies that I mentioned in this draft that were, drafted later on in the draft, they would have been in this same situation if there wasn't a little bit of a crack in their rotations. Holy shit, I cannot believe I just forgot about Jaylen Wells. I'll be completely honest and say that I haven't been watching every single Memphis Grizzlies game this year, but there's a reason why Jaylen Wells is in like the top 3 of the rookie of the year race. He was one of the first rookies to kind of show that he could actually do some shit offensively, and with the Grizzlies also struggling from injuries, he's been huge in stepping up and filling that gap. His 3-point game is going to be huge for when John Morant comes back and he's able to open up the floor a little bit more and also be that threat off the bench when they need him. And probably the best part about both McCain and Jaylen Wells is that they're both from Sacramento. So that being said, comment down below your guys' opinions on these rookies so far this year. Do you still feel like the draft class is a little bit underwhelming, but there's just some good stars? Or do you think it's going to blossom and become one of the better draft classes that we've seen in recent years? Either way, I read and respond to everyone, and while you're down there, if you can like and subscribe, that does help out the channel a ton. And so yeah, I'll make another update video once Devin Carter is healthy and we've seen him play a couple of games. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.